I'm Channing Curtis.
And I'm Tim Pham. A lot to get to on this Wednesday morning, but we want to start things off with a look at our weather forecast because it is going to be kind of an active afternoon. Let's head on over to meteorologist Thomas Patrick. Thomas, you're tracking a lot going on today.
Yeah, just like the last couple days, we've had thunderstorms during the afternoon hours, but today is A, the most likely day this week that we get thunderstorms, and B, these thunderstorms could actually be at their strongest and produce the most rain, the most wind, and maybe even the most hail as well. So we have a couple alerts already in effect. Flood watches for northeastern Washington and portions of North Idaho until 10 o'clock. And really our thunderstorms today, they're going to be slow movers. So if they're dropping heavy rain, they could produce a lot of it in a very short period of time. There's also a severe weather outlook. We're back in that marginal category, those darker green shades that you see there for portions of eastern Washington and North Idaho. Gusty winds and hail. Remember, severe weather is usually defined as damaging thunderstorms via damaging winds or damaging hail. So that's what we're going to be looking out for later on today. But there's already a couple thunderstorms over north central Idaho. Nothing that is impacting any cities directly at the moment, but it is just some early action on this Wednesday. Everything that we have to keep tabs on for the next several hours here. But otherwise, if you're just heading out the door at 5:02 this morning, it is mild out there. 67 in both Spokane and Coeur d'Alene, 68 out of Sandpoint, and as warm as 74 out of Grand Coulee.
Well, the Grant County Sheriff's Office is walking back their accusations of a mass shooting attempt at the Gorge this past weekend.
Yeah, and this is a significant change with what investigators are now saying. They no longer believe that Jonathan Moody was planning a mass shooting. So over the weekend, authorities say attentive concert goers alerted security to Moody after they saw him inhale an unknown substance before loading 2 pistols from the trunk of his car. He then reportedly approached concert goers and asked them what time the show ended and where people would be exiting the concert. Moody was detained and disarmed outside of the venue. He was then arrested on weapon possession charges. Now, at the time of his arrest, deputies say they believe Moody may have been planning a mass shooting, but after more investigating, detectives came to a new conclusion.
They've had opportunities to interview him and also serve search warrants on 2 vehicles that were associated with Mr. Moody. And after speaking with him in different interviews throughout the weekend, they now feel confident that he did not plan a mass shooting. However, the investigation is not closed yet. There are still some things that they want to follow up on. But right now, we are confident in saying that he was not planning a mass shooting.
At this point, investigators are not saying exactly what they learned to determine Moody was not planning a mass shooting. Moody appeared in court on Monday and has since bailed out of jail. His bail was set at $10,000.
Well, the state of Washington is encouraging students to get an after-school job. The new program gives high school students credit for paid work. So KREM 2's Malia Kamal is joining us live this morning to explain more about how this program will work. Good morning, Malia.
Good morning, Tim and Channing. Yes, 30% of students here in Washington state are actually, they're working, and to earn a high school diploma, you need 24 credits. Now, 7 of those credits are required for electives. Now, according to a Spokane school spokesperson, a student can work a job to cover 1 of 7 required electives. Now, in a statement, the Office of Superintendent of Public Instruction says they hope that this new program will encourage students to explore different interests they choose for themselves through paid work.
I mean, it's kind of exciting. I think it's something that should have been in the works for a while. I know a lot of friends that I know that are working, and some people are almost working basically full job days after school constantly. So I think it's almost something that should have been here for a long time.
Now, the hope is for this program to be in place statewide by 2023-24 school year. In Spokane, Leah Kamal, KREM 2 News.
All right, let's take a live look at Washington, D.C. at this hour. Today, President Joe Biden expected to announce student loan forgiveness for millions of Americans.
So here's what we know right now. Up to $10,000 will be forgiven for borrowers who make less than $125,000 a year. It's estimated that the loan forgiveness will total more than $300 billion nationwide. The president is also expected to extend a pause on payments for those with remaining balances.
But if that pause is not extended, some graduates in our area are a little bit worried about how they will be able to afford their payments. Financial experts say the pause gave people the opportunity to build up savings and put that money towards other things. It also provided some financial relief if someone lost their job during the pandemic.
Maybe your payment was $500, $600, $700 a month. You've had a break for that for over 2 years. And maybe your budget has adjusted to not have that payment. Now having to bring it back in can definitely be really challenging for folks.
It also kind of scares me because it is knowing a big chunk of what I'm going to be making is going to be going towards those loans.
About 30% of federal student loan borrowers have a balance of $10,000 or less. The president's student loan announcement could come as early as this morning.
It's 5:06. Let's take a look at your morning rush. More news in less time. An update on a story we first brought you on Up with KREM as breaking news. Lincoln County Sheriff deputies arrested an escaped inmate from Davenport. Deputies say 37-year-old Cody Magruder was found just south of Davenport city limits. A witness saw him walking along State Route 28. Then deputies found him hiding in tall grass near the road. Magruder was arrested and booked back into the Lincoln County Jail. A federal judge is expected to hand down a decision today in the DOJ's legal challenge to Idaho's anti-abortion trigger law. The law makes all abortions in Idaho felonies. The few exceptions are in the cases of rape, incest, or to prevent the death of the mother. If the judge does not block the law, it will go into effect tomorrow. Governor Brad Little is asking to use the state budget surplus for tax breaks and education funding. Lawmakers are considering a draft of legislation that proposes up to $500 million in tax rebates. Each taxpayer would get back 10% of their 2020 income taxes paid, with a minimum of $300 per person or $600 for joint filers. The Stevens County Sheriff's Office still searching for a missing man. We've been telling you about this for a few days now. Trevor Bresnahan was last seen 2 weeks ago. Bresnahan drives a maroon Hyundai Accent with a lime green hood and bumper. If you have any information about this case, contact the Stevens County Sheriff's Office at the number there on your screen. And that's a look at your morning rush.